Today I'm going to show you how to make this really easy Scratch game. So basically you just have to dodge and you can hide this variable reporter, but basically you just have to dodge the red triangles. So let's get it started. Create a project. Now we're going to delete the cat costumes. So now what we're going to do for the player is just make a square. And to make a perfect square, what you can do is you can click Shift and then draw the square, and then it just becomes a perfect square. You can't do anything else. And if you click Alt and enlarge it, then it enlarges it from the center, which also makes it easier. Now what we're going to do is one flag clicked, forever, go to a mouse pointer. That's all the code we need for this. No, not point towards mouse pointer, go to mouse pointer. And also point in direction 90. That's all the code we need. And our player is following, and it's probably really laggy, so you can go into full screen and it won't be laggy. Stop your project. Now what we're going to do is paint a sprite. And then I'm making it red because it's an enemy sprite. And draw a 4x4. The squares on the palette, the squares on the drawing area, you're going to make a 4x4 perfect square out of that. So these little guys, these squares. Now what we do is we go to the reshape tool and delete one of the nodes. Now drag this node down so it hits the point two, so it goes exactly 2 squares down. And we've got ourselves the enemy. Okay, this code is really simple too. Just say one flag clicked, forever. Well, hide before the forever. Hide before the forever. And then all you have to do is just say wait 0.03 seconds is what I used. And then create clone of myself. Now, when I start as a clone in the control section, so this is probably the most complicated part. What we're gonna do is create a variable, call it x/y for this sprite only. If I put it as for this sprite only, every clone can create a different number. which is why that's important. Set x/y to pick random in the operators 1 to 4. Now we're going to go to a random position. Point and direction. Operators. Pick random -180 to 180. This just makes it so that it points in a very random direction. And it's also really important that you make sure the costume is centered, which is why it was a bit wonky. Now if we click it, okay. So now that we pointed in the direction, we can make an if-else. If xy equals 1, okay, now what do we do? What we're going to do is we're going to move the enemy to very close to the edge and then spin it. Make sure it's not touching. There, it's touching. So now we're going to pull it back a bit. Now we'll spin it, make sure it's not touching. Perfect. Okay, we're at the x of -228, so we're going to go to and then set it to -228, duplicate that, set x to +228, duplicate it, put it in the else section, and then set it to +228 if xy equals 2. Now we're going to duplicate both of them, switch out and then delete one of them. Switch out the set x to a set y. Now we're going to do the same thing for the y position, making sure that it's not touching the edge. I think we can go a little more up. I don't think it's touching. Okay. Set the y to 169. And then in the else section, just set y to -169, because if it's not 1, 2, 3, or 3, then it has to be 4. So -169. And these numbers can change, it's just for the size of my triangle. It's like that. Now that it's in the correct position, all we have to do is move it. Repeat until touching edge. Move 10 steps. So now it's just gonna go, if it's here and it's pointing that way, it's gonna keep on going that way until it hits the edge. And then after the move 10 steps, if it's touching the player, so it's sprite 1 for us, stop all. So now if it's going, it'll just move like that, and then it hits the player, it stops the project. Now, if it didn't touch the player, and then it hit the edge, which means this loop is done, you can delete the clone. And that should be it. Okay, now, yep, you have to show right before the set XY variable. And that should be it. Good. Working. And pretty much all of the values here, except for the point and direction and the set XY, you could tweak. So you can make the wait into into even 1 second. And that'll make the game very, very easy. Or you can keep it at 0.03. Now, what if you wanted to add a score? What we'll do is one flag clicked in the stage forever. And what I always do is just rename the my variable. And I make it score. And if you're a full scratcher, if you're not a full scratcher, then you won't get this cloud variable stored on server, and you can skip everything that has to do with this variable that we're making. But if you are one, then this is a good thing to add here to your game. It's cloud variable and then high score. Colon. So yeah, please note cloud variables can only support numbers, not letters or symbols. Okay. So what we're gonna do is change score by 1 every 0.1 second. So 10 times a second. And also show the score variable. And also reset the score, so set score to 0. Now what we'll do is go to sprite 2, or the enemy sprite, and right before the if touching sprite 1, let's stop all. So just before the stop all, inside the clone, we can, if score is greater than high score, then we just have to set the high score to score. Now anyone can create a high score and the high score will not change. So the high score is now 12. High score is now 45. And that's what's going to happen. I am very bad at this game, but this is just a mouse Dodger. And now I'll just share the project. Now if anyone plays it, then the high score would change. So if someone else played it and they got 46, then the high score would change to 46 even on my side, because that's how cloud variables work. I hope you enjoyed. See you on my next